Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. We are going to be running through this Phoenix Suns Denver Nuggets Game 2 as we start to break down each game individually. You'll see one video for each of these games coming out from us shortly. We actually are just going to get into that gift card opportunity right off the bat. Nate, make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page. Jump in the comments and let us know the total of tonight's game between the Suns and the Nuggets. And Nate, let's just go ahead and get into those lines and jump into that analysis for the game.
Yeah, the Nuggets are plus 5.5 right now as they look to bounce back from game one. They just lost control there in the fourth as the Suns pulled away. Total for that game is 223 after we hit 227 in game one. And the Nuggets are plus 180 on the money line. Looking at the series overall now, Nuggets are now plus 315 to win it. The Suns, you can get plus 400 odds on them to win in 6, if you want to go with that exactly. They're now plus 800 to win the title. And looking pretty impressive, Josh. I mean, that was a great all-around performance. DeAndre Ayton playing Jokic almost to a draw in terms of stats. CP3 has shed the KT tape and looks to be the CP3 that we saw all season. Scored 14 points. I believe did not miss a shot in the fourth quarter, scored or assisted on 20 of 34 for the Suns as they just went on a run and never looked back. For me, the first take is just that, wow, home court advantage has really become a thing again, and that includes what we saw in Utah last night. These crowds are just roaring, and the players are responding to it. Just a great lift from the Suns guys as they go on that run in the second half. I just think that, they have so much depth right now. There's a lot of talk about their lack of playoff experience, but they just have great players who seem to not really be shying away from those lights at all. They seem ready for it, especially Ayton, who's quick enough to challenge Jokic on the perimeter, strong enough to limit him down low. Now, I think we all expect a nice bounce back from the Joker. So I think we'll be looking at his props tonight as the Nuggets probably keep this one closer down the stretch. So my first thought is for them to cover 6. But I'm also kind of thinking under, and I'll hear your thoughts first on where you're at with the total there.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you're seeing that makes you think the under in this one. It's really a matter of Denver, right, controlling the offense by having bad defense. To be honest with you, I'm kind of starting with Michael Porter Jr., which I kind of called him out last game as well. That when he's on the floor, you can't expect more points on both sides of the floor because of his incredible athleticism on offense and 3-point shooting, and his complete lack of awareness of where he is and where his man is on defense. His defensive rating in this game was 131 individually. Very, very bad. So, his offense was about 118 individual offensive rating. So we know what he does. He actually tweaked something there, his right leg there a little bit towards the end of the game. And when it got out of hand, he came out of the game with only 15 points. Interestingly enough, on that subject, Will Barton is being talked about as being available for game 2 potentially. That will probably be a game time decision. But either way, it's a trend in the right direction for when Denver goes home. That if they do have Willie B, that's crucial because right now when you've got Facundo Campazzo and Austin Rivers starting against CP3 and Devin Booker and getting about the same amount of minutes. You're going to see the results of what happened there. You've got Chris Paul who just said, "Oh, you've got Facundo Campazzo on me in the third quarter." Still sounds good. I'll take him wherever I want. Oh, now you've got JaMychal Green on me. Cool. I'll just go to the elbow and shoot jumper after jumper, all that I want. So there's going to have to be some form of guard play that Monte Morris was somewhat unplayable with his inability to score. He did have about 5 or 6 assists, but it was mostly on the offensive end. I think that doesn't matter. You need him on the defensive end. He's a much better defender than Facundo Campazzo, and you're going to need him to be sort of ball hawking CP3, who he came back, as you mentioned, with a really, really big game and really put the team on his back in a way by either assisting or scoring on like 90% of the field goals at one point during their stretch in the third quarter. So look, I think like you said, the key here that everybody is talking about and as a post analysis of this game is DeAndre Ayton washed Nikola Jokic. It was just the two of them were a wash together, which is not how Denver's you're going to win anything in this playoffs. Is Nikola Jokic has to be otherworldly. We know that now. I do think you're going to see him come back. I do like taking the Nuggets here in terms of taking the points with them. I do think this game will be a lot closer. They've actually lost the last 4 game ones that they've played. And the 2 game twos that they won the series. So they're very, very capable of winning game 2. Against the Suns, who, like you said, they looked great. It was really the backcourt to me, and I think we're going to see the Joker step up in a way that covers 6 points. And I'm still going, over here to be honest, but I'm very interested to hear your theory behind the under on this one.
Yeah, I just think that when you see Jokic try to take over the way he needs to in this series, it's going to be slowing the pace as much as possible because the Suns really burned them with their ability to get stops and then get out in transition. I think that was the key for that 39-12 run for Phoenix. And it's just a case where Denver can't really stop anybody. I mean, we just saw in the Portland series, they can't stop good perimeter teams because of their guard situation. And the difference is, while Portland gave up whatever Denver wanted on the other end, Phoenix has a 100.8 defensive rating in their last 4. Just fantastic in the playoffs. Yep. And we have Ayton on Jokic, who's doing a solid job there. So I think Denver knows that they're going to have to shorten the game a little bit, limit the possessions to try to pull this one out on the road. I like them to cover 6 points and go under for plus 275 as a parlay, kind of looking at that angle. I just think, while the recent meetings have gone over, we had a bunch of overtime games in there. We had that kind of emotional game 1 explosion. I think we're due for a little bit of a drop off, and the total's rising because of that trend with the Nuggets. So I think if you can get it up there, 224, 225, I think I would be looking at under. And another thing we've been doing, right, Josh, is just waiting for the game to start high scoring in the playoffs and expecting that slowdown, which happens seemingly every fourth quarter.
Amazing. Especially
with Jokic, with Chris Paul, with these guys controlling pace and really working for every possession.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at, what's happening. I mean, look, Milwaukee and the Nets are the series that I did not think would follow that trend, as you mentioned. But every single game, including that one, came out very high scoring in the first quarter, dropped way underneath that total of 2. It was 211, right? And it was a total around 240. Same concept here for me. I do like one thing to sort of add to the idea of the under is the fact that, DeAndre Ayton's not only making Jokic work on defense, right? On offense, rather, by guarding him all over the floor. He's making him work on defense by putting up, by being in the right spot and making the Joker who, if you look at some of the defensive numbers in that game, he was guarding everywhere. He was all over the floor. They were putting him in pick and rolls everywhere. He had the most shots contested in the game, Jokic did, including at the 3-point line, which is rare for a big man to be guarding all those 3-pointers, showing they're just putting him in the spin cycle with the pick and roll with Ayton and Chris Paul, which is working incredibly. And the very last thing to sort of support the under, the Nuggets are a team that rely on crashing the offensive boards with guys like Jokic and guys like Michael Porter Jr. They were 6th in the league during the regular season in second chance points, had about 18 second chance points per game in the first round of the series. As we know, Portland's defense is just putrid. But they only had 8 in game 1. So, I think that trend continues when you see the likes of guys like Ayton and Crowder and others who are big bodied and able to, box out the likes of the Nuggets. So a couple of good under opportunities there, I think. And definitely, I know we'll both be watching that one live to potentially grab that under if we see a high scoring first quarter or second quarter. So do make sure you are liked and subscribed, y'all. We do have that gift card opportunity. If you dropped in the comments the total for tonight's game with the Nuggets and Suns, we'll look to get that gift card out to a winner and be back with another couple of videos for you guys as the NBA playoffs move on. Just do make sure you have a FanDuel or DraftKings account. Head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those local listings in your area. Bunch of sweet playoff promos, and we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, happy betting.